Hey everybody, welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Ray Goots. I'm here with Andrew Lee, bro. We are in your house. We're gonna talk all about that, but it's been a big week in wrestling, I guess.
Big week.
Lots to talk and bitch and moan about. First off, we're gonna talk about this in the podcast, but I want to make a quick point about this guy. Odyssey Jones has been found innocent of whooping his girlfriend's ass, and people online are saying he should be rehired. Andrew Lee, give me some info on Odyssey Jones over here.
Well, Odyssey Jones, yeah, he has been found guilty of being guilty of domestic assault, but that is not the only reason why he was fired. This woman that he has a problem with, a partner, I should say partner, because I don't know if it's a woman technically. He's had issues with this partner three separate occasions. That means police reports filed three different occasions. Some of them years apart. But it sounds like he never disclosed any of them with
Mm-hmm.
WWE. The first two happened like I think before 2000, and then
Mm-hmm.
somehow, somewhere, after years apart, he got back together with this partner after 2020. And
Yeah.
this last one was kind of like what brought was obviously a false claim, but it doesn't matter because he never disclosed any of it. Similar to what Enzo More happened with him when he was accused and he had a police charge against him. He never disclosed that information to WWE. So even though he was found not guilty and that accusation was all fabricated, it didn't matter. He
Didn't
basically
matter.
just, yeah, it's like, yeah, people have to understand WWE is like a publicly traded company. It's an entertainment company. They want to know everything about you in case something happens because you're going
Yeah.
to be representing them and you got to tell them everything. And let me ask you a question. Do you think there's ever a chance we're ever going to see Odyssey Jones back? Maybe like not right now, obviously, but in the future.
I mean, so this is what I was saying because I was like, I don't even want to talk about this. I was like, if I'm Triple H and ultimately if I'm a fan, I'd be like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. You are innocent, but honestly, you kind of fucking stink. And there's only so much room that we have on the show. So you know what?
That is
Don't worry
true.
about it. I mean, like it's not worth the trouble for me. Like you can't make him into a guy. If I'm Odyssey Jones and I'm like, and I really believe in my heart that I could be a main eventer, I would go work for GCW and reinvent myself or something. You
Yeah.
know.
And,
Also,
and
fans.
their roster is bloated right now. I'm pretty sure after WrestleMania, they're probably going to do a round of layoffs.
Yeah, this is the old problem too with younger fans is like once you're accused of something, first of all, no one covered that he was innocent, but also like people still think Enzo's a rapist. Like people will still say like he's a. There's no evidence. There's no basis in reality that that man is a rapist. People still call him a rapist, and that's why he shouldn't be on WWE TV. These fans, these kids growing up, you have to remember this fucking. I said you did something, so you did something. Bullshit has been going on now for 8 years. So you have these younger fans that are just like, once you're accused of something, you just did it, and there's no coming back, and you already did it, so you might as well just kill yourself. You know what I'm saying? You know?
What's gonna happen is their only way they're gonna learn is when they make a mistake and they're put in that situation. And trust me, they will. Everyone's human, so everyone's going to make a mistake.
Yeah.
And they're gonna
Yeah,
realize like you can't crucify someone forever for a mistake.
but that's what they do now. That's what they do.
That's
So
what they
it's
do.
that's what they do. You can't come back from it, which is like, but the thing about it is, so if I'm Odyssey Jones, I would go to an indie. But my thing is, those indie fans, they're somehow even like worse than like WWE fans. They're not forgiving.
Yeah,
So what you're gonna have to do is you're just gonna have to fucking grin and bear it. And
maybe
but
go to
there's always
TNA. But speaking of TNA, there's TNA news.
sorry, I just want to finish my case. But
Oh
there's
yeah.
I my point. But there's always the case that the promoter, even if you're killing it, the promoter might be like, it's not worth the fan backlash because most of my fans sit on Twitter all day with Josh Alba. So
Oh yeah. So moving on from one big fatso to another big fatso, Top Dollar.
Scott
What's his
DeVore
name?
left.
What's his name? Top Dollar's name?
Top
A-
flop dollar.
no, no, no. It's
AJ
Francis.
Francis.
AJ
AJ
Francis.
Francis.
Yeah, who is currently wrestling in TNA. Did you hear about the TNA news that came out today?
Big news
Big
today.
news
Big news. TNA and WWE are an official partnership. Um,
for
this is
many many years,
what
multi years, for
multi
many years,
years.
multi-year partnership. Yeah,
This is great news for TNA wrestlers. This is great news for NXT. Um,
it's also great
I
news for
personally,
TNA.
whoops, I think it's great news for TNA.
Great news for everybody, fans too. I think.
I could see eventually. I think what they're going to do with TNA was, you know, how I had this idea, like just do a WCW and go against AEW. I think they're going to turn TNA into what WCW could have been,
Mm-hmm.
and what it should have been. You know, but before, yeah, we've got a lot. We've got a lot to, because this is all kind of connected with what's going on in AEW. But TNA could have been so much bigger if not for just one man going, "Ain't I great? Double J, Jeff Jarrett. I gotta have the world title, boys." But TNA could have been a big deal, and I think now it will be. This is a good partnership. You know, there's only so much TV time you can give everybody. Maybe now, like if someone's like they just don't know how to fit someone on the show, they can put them on TNA. They can. Like I said, I would have a TNA World Title match at WrestleMania. I would do it. I would just do it,
Yeah,
and
I think so. I think that would make WrestleMania feel like a bigger deal. You know.
I
Um,
would have Josh Alexander. I would put in either Josh Alexander or someone else, maybe Moose in the Royal Rumble, and have them say very clearly, and even have them say this on Raw or SmackDown: if I win, I'm going to challenge for the TNA belt at WrestleMania. Like, I'm not going to challenge for the WWE because I want to prove to you that my company is just as good. And obviously, don't have them win.
yeah.
But
So
yeah,
if you guys are wondering, because now they're saying they're going to do a lot of inter-promotional stuff, meaning a lot more TNA talent coming over every once in a while to NXT, maybe even main roster, and also WWE wrestlers more because
hmm
it's already been happening. Like Charlie Dempsey and Ariana Grace would go over to TNA. Ariana Grace is still actually there, but more WWE talent would go to TNA. I'm assuming they might even do a thing where AJ Styles, maybe, people who have some kind of background when in TNA
that is a
can
great
show up.
one. That is,
Yeah.
dude. Can you imagine? They're not going to do this, but can you imagine AJ Styles wins the Royal Rumble and then is like, actually, I'm going to go for the TNA belt at WrestleMania?
Or somebody on TNA cutting a promo, not even just have to do with Royal Rumble, because this is multi years. They're gonna be dealing with each other for years. Somebody
Or
on
AJ
TNA,
Styles goes there main event Slammiversary.
yeah, somebody on TNA cutting a promo on their show talking about how he's the best wrestler TNA's ever produced. People like AJ Styles can't hold, can't like tie up his bootstraps, and then AJ Styles responding to that. You can actually do stuff like that now, right?
Yeah.
If you're wondering, if you haven't watched TNA in a while, which is probably everybody, there's some people you could look forward to possibly showing up in WWE TV. Ace Austin, former Top Dollar AJ Francis, Brian Myers, Kurt Hawkins, Eric Young. Eric Young could come back into
Oh
WWE.
no. He made us. He'll never work for
Wait,
the.
wait,
I
what was
won't
the
go back.
what was the thing he used to yell? What was the thing he used to yell like all the time?
I changed the narrative. No, what he would say? What the fuck
No,
would he
no, it
say?
wasn't the narrative. It was like it's my world now or something like that. What did he say? He would just yell it over and over
Dude,
again.
he all he would do on those. Dude, Scott Demore sucked. He's so much better TNA's doing without that fucking idiot Scott Demore. How
Mhm.
can people like fucking? This is why these people were delusional. Eric Young catchphrase.
Yeah, I
Dude,
can't
that's
even
all
remember
this
what it
guy would
was.
say. It was violent by design. Was this
Mhm.
stupid fuck? Dude, fucking AI Google so bad. They go, Eric Young is known for saying just keep going. I've never heard him say just
No,
keep going.
no, I don't remember.
Who the fuck said that? Eric, that's not his catchphrase, bro.
No, that's not his catchphrase. It wasn't. It's maybe Showtime. I remember saying
No,
it's
no, no. It
Showtime.
was it was something like the world is my oyster or some shit.
Yeah,
Eric,
it was something like the world is mine. It was stupid. It was not good. It
I
was
wrote world violent by design catchphrase. Hold on.
Yeah, it was so
Let's see.
bad. It was not a good catchphrase, but you could start yelling.
Google is so fucking bad now. I used to be able to find. I can't.
While you're looking for that, I mean, list off some other more people that could possibly come over. Obviously, if you haven't or if you've already heard, Masha Slamovich, which who is the women's champion in TNA, she actually was already on NXT this week. She was on a cameo, so possibly future. She's gonna come over. She is signed with TNA for many many years, so she can't actually sign with WWE, but she could probably have a match or two. Who else we got? Alexander Hammerstone, who's one of my favorite guys there. He's available too. We also have Jake something. I hate that freaking name. Fandango. Fandango is there. The Hardy Boys.
There you go. That's the WrestleMania main event. John Cena Fandango final.
Yeah. What did you find this catchphrase? No, right?
No, dude. Google is so bad now, bro. I used to be able to find this in dude, have you tried to Google anything lately?
I mean, I use Google all the time.
Dude, how can I not find his? That's because nobody's watching but me and you. Remember we used to cover the show every week?
Yeah. It was awful. It was awful.
Let me tell you something.
Do you remember Carneyland?
Yeah, I remember that.
It's on Peacock now.
Those episodes?
And NWA Carneyland is on Peacock. It's the funniest thing. Like, and they made like, because I opened the Peacock and it goes Carneyland now available on Peacock. I'm like, oh, that's awful.
I think that's a different show, bro. Let me see. Did you watch it?
No, it's the same one. I'm not gonna watch. I already watched it once. I'm not gonna watch it again. Oh my god, that was terrible.
Oh yeah, no. That's a different show. Adventures in Carneyland. That's Billy Corgan's reality show about forming NWA.
Oh, I thought it's a reality show about Carneyland. Carneyland is a reality show about Carneyland. Joe Hendry. You know, it would be great if they bring in Johnny Swinger. I would love to see Johnny Swinger pop up.
Is he still on the main show? I haven't heard anything about him.
He's on the roster, I think. He's still technically on the roster. But
so let's talk about.
By the way, Kevin Knight, who might be a free agent, they could probably bring him in.
You know they should bring back. You know they should bring in and give him all the belts. Is Kuwan? What's that guy's name? Sabuga. He looked like Yokozuna, but he went no.
Falaba, who's not on their roster anymore.
Falaba
is actually having a match this Friday in New Jersey. There's two huge wrestling shows in New Jersey, a DPW show and a WrestlePro show. I'm still on the fence of trying to figure out which one I want to go to. But
dude, you got to go and support Falaba.
Falaba, yeah.
What
else? What else is in the news?
This is good. I gotta tell you what I saw. I saw a clip of yesterday, and man, fucking bro, we're talking about all this big TNA news.
Keep talking, all right? Well, I go get something. Keep going.
I'll tell you what the biggest hurdle in TNA's history was, and this is 20 years ago. Was Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett hogged TV time. Jeff Jarrett had subpar matches. Jeff Jarrett hogged all the main storylines, and it made watching that show really hard. And we all really wanted an alternative to WWE right after WCW folded. And TNA was really bad. And part of the reason why TNA was really bad was because of Jeff Jarrett, who is not a main eventer. He's not a world champion. He's a mid-carder at best. What?
Jeff Jarrett had a big night this week.
So anyway, again, he came in to TNA. No one seems to remember this. Certainly not the reporters. He came into AEW in an office role. Somehow his role kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger every fucking week to where last night he had a 15-minute segment with MJF in the ring where they bring up Owen Hart and they kind of shit on him. And to me, if you are an AEW sicko, if you are a fan of AEW, I think that segment and the fact that they used Owen Hart in an angle is a betrayal of what you were sold AEW was going to be. Because that is a Vince McMahon move. That is a Paul Heyman move. That is an Eric Bischoff move. That was not supposed to be what AEW was about. And the fact that in 2025, they're using Owen Hart's name to get heat. Also, I just think that's a betrayal of what AEW was advertised as. That's a 2019 Vince McMahon promo, what MJF cut on Jeff Jarrett yesterday.
Oh man, I'm sorry, I did not watch it yet. That promo, I was busy, but
You
I
said
did hear about it.
you're only over because of your dead friend Owen.
Oh, and
But like,
I did see that he was wearing a blue blazer.
oh god. But
Dude, he did that on purpose. He did that on purpose.
my
Get it? Do
thing
you
with
get it?
fucking
Blue
Martha,
blazer.
my thing with Martha
Martha,
Hart.
Martha Kent.
What she oh, I know WWE's gonna exploit my husband's memory. Oh, I don't like them. Da, 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 oh, da, 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 da. And then, she goes to TNA, sells the rights to her husband's name. It's like, oh yeah. And so you're okay with like Owen being in an angle where they use him like Paul Bearer? Because I always assumed she wasn't. And it's like it just comes across as like I thought you were worried about this all these years. I thought you didn't want this to happen. You were so protective, and now he's being used for a match that's going to draw like five people. Jeff Jarrett versus MJF. I just thought it was like, man, this is so not. This is not what, dude. Doesn't matter if people like this. Isn't what AEW is supposed to be about. You know?
Yeah, but like I said, MJF was wearing a blue blazer. Dude, that he's playing 3D, he's playing 4D chess, man. While everyone's playing checkers, he's playing chess, brother.
Dude, I hate Jeff Jarrett. I hate Jeff Jarrett. He has completely manipulated Tony Khan to being main character of the show. It is to the detriment. If you so look me in the eyes, anybody, you or Jeff Jarrett or Tony Khan, and you tell me you actually think this is helping the show, you actually think this is going to help the show, you're out of your mind. This guy is only in it for himself. This guy has conned and lied his way to stay on top for more. He should have been a fucking jobber, and as soon as WCW folded. And I just think it's sad. It's sad and pathetic what's happening because these are the mistakes people made 25 years ago. 25 years ago, people made these mistakes. And he's older and less over. And it's sad. If you're still an AEW diehard and you sit all day and defend them, you're fucking pathetic. You're fucking pathetic.
By the way, TNA also currently still has on the roster Sammy Callahan. Dude,
Oh,
I'm telling you,
the
put him
draw.
in put him in the rumble and have him say Ohio versus everyone like to every single wrestler. Have him spit
No,
in
remember,
John
he's also the
Cena.
draw. He's the
Yeah,
draw.
have him spit in John Cena's face.
I'm
Dude,
Ohio
he's the
versus
draw.
everything.
Ohio versus everyone. And then spit in people's face.
Everything. Ohio
Oh,
versus
is
everything.
it everything? I actually wanted to do that really bad. Just like, why did they resign this guy?
They think he's a winner.
Well, he is the draw. I mean, who am
He's
I?
the
Who
draw.
am I?
That's the reason why.
He is the draw.
Listen, when Triple H met with the TNA management now, he said, "Do you still have the draw?" And they were like, "Yeah, yeah, Semi Cal. Oh, thank God. I thought we're gonna get no. I thought no one was gonna watch. Okay, good.
Yeah,
We
the
got the
draw.
draw. Sign the paper." All right. So speaking of the draw, speaking of Owen Hart, speaking of all this, we got to go back in time, Daddy, to February 1996. In Your House 6, the final numbered one. Overall, Andrew Lee, bro, what'd you think of this show?
In your house. In your house.
In
In
Your
your
House?
house, Six sucked my balls. It was one of the worst pay-per-views I've seen. I would
Really?
say, I would say that I thought 1995 WWF was terrible. 1996 WWF is starting off on the wrong foot with
You didn't
discarding.
like Shawn and Owen?
There's a lot of matches on this that are just like pure average to bad.
I mean, some of the matches suck, yeah, but I thought Shawn and Owen were good, and I thought Diesel and Razor.
That
Razor
Shawn
and
and Owen was the best one, but it still was
before the
not.
uh before the angle, I thought Razor and 1-2-3 Kid was a good match. Till that stupid ending.
But let's actually get into it. Let's
All
go
right.
break it down one match per each match at a time. In Your House 6 taking place February 18th, 1996 in Louisville, Kentucky. 5,000 people and 5,500 people are in attendance. 186,000 pay-per-view buys. Now, so if you
What
guys
was the
want to
December
know,
show?
in your house pay-per-views are $20. So like Royal Rumble is gonna be $30. So it's actually $10 less. So I guess, they're still making some kind of money, I guess. These in your houses are like that, right? Uh so if you want to in comparison to the pay-per-view buy rates, Royal Rumble, the next pay-per-view for WWF will be 269,000 pay-per-view buys. In Your House 5 had 84,000 buys. So this is a big bump from In Your House 5, like 100,000 more buys. Super Brawl in
Well, I think
WC.
it's because of the cage. I think the cage was a draw kid, brother.
Dude, there's gonna be a lot of cages we're gonna watch, and I don't understand. These cage matches are just as bad as these lumberjack
Well,
matches.
because I think the cages were draws, brother.
You know what's funny? It's that a lot of pay-per-views that we're watching, WCW and WWF, they seem to be doing a monkey see monkey kind of do thing. So
Yes,
meaning
that's well,
if we
that's what.
if
Sorry,
yeah,
go.
like so if WWF does a lumberjack match, WCW on the very next pay-per-view will do a lumberjack match. And if WCW does a cage match, WWF the very next month will do a cage match. They're just
That's
copying
what,
each
dude.
other.
That's what Dave Meltzer said. So he jumped on Laps. I was listening to Laps fan Starcade '95, and I don't know if you noticed, but I don't know if you remember that match. Ric Flair didn't blade himself. Macho Man bladed him. And the reason why Macho Man bladed him was Macho Man saw the Bret Hart match a few weeks before that. And he was like, we need to get color too. Like, we need to, people aren't going to keep ordering our shows because they got good color. So Flair was pissed, but that was the reason. And he goes, like, literally, the guys would watch the pay per view from the week before and they'd be like, what can we do to top them this week? That's how intense it was back then.
Yeah, I can see that. And but sometimes they even knew like yeah, I can see that. But I to me, if you're watching these in order, it makes it for it to be also a bad show. Because you're just watching cage match after cage match. It's so annoying, personally, for me. By the way, uh Super Brawl, which is WCW's pay-per-view in February, just like a week before In Your House 6, drew 210,000 pay-per-view buys. So you could see WCW really just like overtaking WWF in popularity, you know? You can see it
Well,
happening.
because it's I mean, even with the cage match and Hogan stuff stinking, I kind of feel like I don't know. WCW has a younger, better energy, like, and which is weird to say because WWE was like youth. But at the end of the day, it's an old man yelling. I mean, the guy's like 50. Vince is 50. And he's going on about youth, and for some reason, WCW feels younger, even with like fucking 97-year-old Hogan in the main events and Flair.
It's not just younger
Hipper.
because but it's more like WCW seems cooler. There's just cooler
Yeah.
stuff happening, you know? Like, don't get me wrong, there is some lame ass stuff happening in WCW too, but when you're looking at the mid card, it just seems more refreshing. While in WWF, there's still like a garbage man. There's still like these gimmicky characters, and it's
Yeah.
just like, man, it's I don't know. Already by the mid 90s, if you were like a character, it's already kind of lame, you know. And WCW was already like getting past that. People aren't like an occupation. There isn't like IRS, there's not like a fucking garbage man, and stuff like that. That's what I think. Um
Yeah, yeah. Well, the guys that are the young generation, they're just guys that are
they're
good
just guys.
wrestlers.
They're just guys like
Yeah,
Eddie Guerrero. They're like Brian Pillman, Loose Cannon. But what is that? It's not like an occupation. You know what I'm
and
saying?
e- and even when Scott Hall and Kevin Nash go over there, they're just guys. They're just
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
ready to fucking
Lex
go.
Luger is just a guy. Harlem Heat is just like a badass tag team. They're not like actually on fire and stuff. But you have like in WWF, you have like I said, you have like a garbage man. You have a guy who's dressed up like he's like like what do you call it? Like a French nobleman, and then you got pig farmers. You just like it's just too like cartoony still, and it's kind of lame. But anyways, what's not lame is how they open the show. You got Sonny in a very teeny little bikini on the beach, and she's like, "Viewer discretion is advised." And you're like, "Wow, this is gonna be a cool show." It's not. It's not gonna be a cool show.
They were in love with Sonny, brother.
What what viewer discretion is she advising? It's not like none of the show was like none of the show was had attitude at all. It was just her. She was the only one that had attitude.
She's the thing that the viewers need to be discretion by because she's gonna run you over with a car.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, basically. So Vince McMahon Jr. and Jerry the King Lawler, they are on commentary. They run down the card, and we're gonna get into our first match. It is a crybaby match. Yes, crybaby match. Razor Ramon versus 1-2-3 Kid, who comes down with Ted DiBiase. And 1-2-3 Kid doesn't just come down with Ted DiBiase. He also comes down with a Razor Ramon teddy bear in a baby stroller. Uh, and Kid
It's a
takes the
crybaby match.
I know, I know. You know what? When I was a kid, I do remember like seeing the promos for this match, the Crybaby match, and I
Mhm.
remember thinking that I would never want to watch this match because I'm already a teenager. I'm like, oh, this looks so stupid, and I never watched it, and it was good that I never watched it because it was pretty bad.
This felt this. Do you know what this feels like? This match. It feels like Jim Cornette's idea. Feels
Oh,
very
you think
Southern
so?
wrestling.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
I can see that. Actually, now that you mentioned that, you're right. This does seem like a country bumpkin southern match. Yeah.
yeah.
Um.
Like this feels
So,
like something that like Buddy Landel would stuck in. Something.
Buddy Land. So the kid starts the match by throwing a teddy bear and a Razor Ramon's face because nothing hurts more than getting a teddy bear thrown in your face. The Razor
That's
Ramon goes, "Oh, you want to throw a teddy bear in my face? How about I beat the shit out of you?" And he starts beating the crap out of 1-2-3 Kid for that. Sends him outside. Um, and the kid, that was really funny. He's like, "I'm gonna throw this teddy bear in your face," and Razor Ramon's like, "I'm gonna punch you in the face." So, but the
don't
kid
send me
fights.
no teddy bear, Chico.
However, the kid fights back with some of his karate moves. Then Ted DiBiase throws baby powder into Razor Ramon's eyes right in front of the
Pero.
referee, but the referee doesn't care. And this really hurts Razor Ramon because, as we all know, Johnson and Johnson was putting asbestos in the baby powder. We didn't know this back in 1996 though. But
Oh
anyways,
my god, yeah, that's why Ray Ramon went on drugs. The baby powder had a hold
yeah,
on him.
a lot of baby powder in this match. So anyway, 1-2-3 Kid, he starts the beatdown process after the baby powder. Then he puts on a sleeper on Razor Ramon. After a long sleeper, Razor Ramon crotches a kid on the top ropes, and he gets out of it and he starts his offense. Ted DiBiase tries to distract the referee while the 1-2-3 Kid gets more baby powder in his hands. But Razor Ramon kicks the baby powder into 1-2-3 Kid's own face, and then he hits the razor's edge on the kid, not once, but twice. And then he gets the win. Afterwards, Razor Ramon gets the baby bottle, a giant baby bottle, squirts water. There's no milk in it, it's just water. Squirts water all over 1-2-3 Kid's face. Then he takes the powder and he puts the baby powder on. He throws it on Ted DiBiase's face, and then he puts the diaper on a knocked out 1-2-3 Kid, and then he puts powder all over the kid's face and body. 1-2-3 Kid wakes up and he's like, "What's going on?" And he looks down and he sees that he's wearing a diaper and he starts
What's going on?
crying. Yeah, he starts crying. Get it? Because it's a crybaby match. This is a C. This was I almost want to give this a D, but I will not because they did not come up with the concept for this match. They did their
I
best
like
with it.
if you take away the stipulation, you just end the match when the match ends. I did like the work rate. I mean, the stipulation. I feel like no matter what the match is, you could do Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker at WrestleMania 25, and once you like fucking Shawn Michaels have to wear a diaper, the match goes. You know what I'm saying? Like it's such a bad stipulation. Doesn't matter how good the work is. And that segment is embarrassing, but I didn't mind the work. I thought the work between these two guys was pretty good. I don't know
So
what you thought.
if there's a really terrible movie, right? Let's say there's a fucking
Yeah.
terrible movie, right? Like Catwoman with Halle Berry, right?
Mhm.
It's just like not a good movie. But let's just say like Halle Berry, she acted the shit out of her role. it's not gonna make it a good movie. It's still a bad movie.
But the thing about it is like the segment at the end has nothing to do with their work rate. Like nobody could save that segment. It's just when so if you just go with like the pure match, the 1, 2, 3, it's good. But like even Kenny Omega and Okada, if Okada had to wear a diaper, it's like it is what it is. But I like if you just take that out, I thought the work rate was fine.
Yeah. For me, it's just like the whole thing. Like I'm gonna start with throwing this teddy bear in your face, and there's baby powder and stuff. It's just like it.
I will
I
say Ted
get it.
DiBiase really gained a lot of weight.
I mean, he was probably eating out of depression because he had to be involved in this crybaby match. That's probably what it was. Um, yeah, it just wasn't for me. This was terrible, terrible opening match. But don't worry, Sonny
It
is
gets
there.
worse.
Sonny is there to cheer me up. Sonny and Ray Rougeau, two
Oh, dude.
hotties.
Dude, can I say something about Sunny in this segment, bro? Dude,
Yes.
if a woman had her charisma now, she would be the top star. She has so much fucking. She is the most charismatic woman they've ever come across up until this point in pro wrestling. Like, man, if she had just kept her shit together, she could have been She could have been like on like regular TV. Like, she has such this segment. I was so impressed by her. She just comes off as a star. She just
Speaking
like
of speaking of women talent, TNA has Tessa Blanchard on their roster.
Oh, good. Well, maybe what if they Charlotte and her reform the Four Horsemen?
You think WWE will be okay to use her?
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think that would be really awesome if actually Charlotte, Flair, and Tessa form like a Four Horsemen. That would be dope. Actually, that would actually be really dope.
Tessa,
Oh, who could you put in there?
uh, Becky, and Tiffany. No,
No,
you need a big person. So Becky, you put Becky in. Becky's the Arn, and then you need a Luger,
Lex Luthor.
Luger.
Um,
You not Raquel
well,
Colon.
you would not put Bailey in there, right?
I mean, then it feels weird because again, dude, these fans. You replaced a black woman with a white racist. I'm never gonna watch WWE again. Like, yeah, no, you can't. You got to make it different. It has to be.
You know what I would do? I would do
What about
Tessa.
that big woman who just showed up on NXT?
I would do Tessa, Charlotte. What's her name? That um, Jade Cargill.
Mhm.
And
That's a
I
good one.
would,
That's a good
yeah,
one.
and I would do somebody from NXT who's gonna be the person who's gonna eat all the pinfall. Like,
Did Roxanne Perez lose the belt?
yeah, you need somebody. Like, do you remember when MJF had that stable and
Yeah.
Sean Spears,
Okay.
his role was to always just get to eat the pinfall so that they all made it to the
Roxanne
team?
Perez. Roxanne
Yeah, you
Perez.
need somebody from NXT to be
Because then
like the
she can
person
talk
to
a lot of
eat.
trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I would. That's what I would do. I would do that. That would be such a badass stable,
You
actually.
know what they should do? They're not going to do it, but what they should do is, I think Tessa's fighting Jordan Grace this weekend. Have fucking Jade Cargill help fucking Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah, and don't even call them the Horsewomen because that's kind of stupid. I would call
No,
them.
you know what they should call them? The fucking stupid horse. Don't match stuff.
They should
Stupid.
call themselves the Crybabies, and then their hallmark should
They're
be
all the diapers.
putting diapers on everybody, and then baby powder.
Why do we bring
Anyway,
up TNA? Oh,
let's get back
oh
to the
yes,
hotties. There's two
Sonny.
hotties,
I don't.
Sunny and Ray Rougeau, the two hotties. Um,
Sonny was so good in this, man.
so
Dude,
was Ray Rougeau. Ray Rougeau was very good too.
dude, Sonny. Poor, poor Sonny, bro. Dude, fuck.
So
This is
if you
why you
guys
gotta
are
stay with
wondering what
drugs.
she did in this segment, they're giving their thoughts about what happened with the Crybaby match with Razor Ramon 123 Kid when they show you a recap of Jake Roberts scaring Sonny with his snake. And that's basically all she was there to do. She was like acting scared from the snake. She did a pretty good job. She acted pretty scared.
He's pretty good.
We're going from one hottie to another hottie. In our match number 2, Hunter Helmsley with Elizabeth Hilden, who is a penthouse playmate, meaning she basically poses nude in these magazines.
Mhm.
She was actually the pet of that's what they call it. That's not, they can't say Playmate because that's Playboy. So Penthouse, um, which was a more second rate porno mag back in the day, right? Because it was Playboy's up there. Penthouse is like
Yeah,
low.
Penthouse was you're a little bit grimier if you were in Penthouse.
Yeah, it was grimier. They would just really
Mhm.
spread the legs and everything. Yeah. So Elizabeth Hilden, she was the pet of 1997. So she's already been doing spreads, and by the time
She's already
uh,
been doing spreads.
she's already been doing spreads, and by the time she's Helmsley's valet here. Um, by the way, she has since retired from Penthouse
Spreading.
magazine. She is married and she lives in Missouri. And I saw a picture of her, and she is still pretty hot, even probably for her age right now. Whose idea was to bring her out with Helmsley? Like, why did they pair up with a?
So Helmsley had a different women every week. They were building to Sable. I don't think they knew they were building to Sable. They might have, but the whole thing was to build to the debut of Sable, where that happens at Wrestle. You remember WrestleMania 12? What happens?
No, he fights Undertaker, Ultimate Warrior.
Ultimate
Yeah.
Warrior. I mean, you're going to see this in 2 weeks, but Ultimate Warrior, Sable's the girl. It was supposed to show that Hunter S. Helmsley is just has a ton. He has a different woman every week because he's so fucking hot, right? And at WrestleMania, it's Sable, and he loses in seconds, Ultimate Warrior. And in the back, Mark Marrow is cutting a promo like, "I'm so excited to be here. I'm so," and then Triple H is screaming at Sable, and Mark Merrill saves her, and then she becomes his manager. So this was
Okay, I
building to
get
the
that, but why use a penthouse pet? Why don't you just use like models, not like
probably
women?
because they wanted people to think that Hunter just fucks the best.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
That
Well,
builds
he's
up
not.
Sable.
He might be fucking the best, but he's not fighting the best because in this
No,
match he's gonna be fighting Duke the Dumpster Drosy. He usually has a mullet, but he has a haircut here, and the reason
he
why his
got a haircut.
haircut.
Let me say that haircut completely. It completely ruined. He doesn't have any charisma to begin with. He has no star power, but whatever little he had is gone with that haircut. He looks like he looks like a guy from an indie wrestling show that they just found off the street. He looks like a fucking loser, bro. This sucked,
Yeah, he has a pretty
and
much
it
a
didn't
buzz
suck
cut.
because of Hunter.
Yeah, he has a buzz cut because they show you a recap. Hunter on Raw like attacked him from behind and cut his hair. So that's where this match is coming from. Dumpster talks to Todd before the match, and he goes, "It's gonna be revenge time." So he goes out to the ring. They fight right away. Duke the Dumpster, he has the edge early on, and he takes off his weight belt and he hits him. He hits Hunter with the weight belt, which Cody will steal decades later.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Helmsley he dumps Duke the Dumpster over the top rope, and then he takes over the match and he starts beating on the Duke. However, Duke does fight back to no reaction at all. He hits his trash compactor finishing move, but instead of going for the cover, he's like, "Let me get the trash can" instead of getting this win. So he gets the trash can, but it's not a it's not a no DQ match. The referee takes it away. He's like, "What are you gonna do with this trash can? What are you gonna hit him with it? Because if you do, you lose." So the ref takes away the trash can, and Duke's like, "Come on, ref!" And during this time, Triple H gets the lid of the trash can, hits Duke on the head with the
Ooh.
lid, and he wins the match. I give this a C minus. This is terrible, boring. No,
This match stunk, and it wasn't because of Hunter. Duke Drosy just didn't have it. He couldn't keep up with Hunter, even in Hunter's like rookie state. Awful, an embarrassing performance by Duke the Drumster Drosy. Uh, and we don't. He gets fired shortly after, deservingly so. He just didn't have it. It didn't matter
not
what you called
fired.
him. He didn't have it.
He not fired. He asked for his release.
Well,
Um,
you know what? They should send him a bouquet of flowers for not wasting anyone else's time. The guy
yeah.
stunk. Guy couldn't
So
do it.
Duke asked for his release, and he will get it. This is his last pay per view appearance until the gimmick battle royal decade, like more than a decade later. Duke now has retired from wrestling completely.
Good.
He actually lost his foot or leg to
Good.
diabetes. So,
All of this is great
so
news.
yeah, this is gonna be the last time we're gonna see Duke for a very long time, guys. Um, I think he shows up in WCW, right?
No, he shows up nowhere.
Oh, well, he's
That's
done.
it.
Anyway, Todd Pettengill. He's in the back and he's pitching a one size fits all sweatshirts for adults for $30, for kids for $20. You get a giant picture of Shawn Michaels on your face on a sweatshirt. Did you get these sweatshirts?
You know what? I would. I would now. If I
No,
walked into
you didn't get it
Ross's,
before? You didn't get it when you were a kid?
no, dude, I
I
wasn't
feel like
watching back then.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You
I
weren't
thought I
watching.
thought wrestling was fucking stupid. I wasn't watching it.
Well,
And I was right. And I was right, by the way,
you were
watching
right.
instead.
Yeah, I was gonna say actually you were right. It was
Yeah.
stupid back then. So all right. All right. So anyway, after that, we get a recap of Yokozuna turning on Jim Cornette. And Doc Hendricks, he's with Yokozuna, and he goes, "Folks, you're in for a treat. Yokozuna is gonna speak for the very first time." And he starts talking, and he
Sounds
sounds
like Giga
ghetto.
Fat too.
Yeah, he sounds like Rikishi doing the ghetto talk. And the whole time I was thinking was, this isn't the first time he spoke. Remember Samoa forever? Remember when he was screaming
Oh yeah, yeah,
Samoa
yeah.
forever?
I like the fact he doesn't even attempt. He doesn't even attempt to be kind of Asian. He's just completely Samoan. Brother, I'm gonna fuck you up, brother. Like he's just like, dude, this is not how a Japanese guy would sound. Fuck that.
Yeah. They sound like they're not. This is not even how Samoans talk. They're just talking like they're from this hood.
No, he was really like he was like kind of really he used to rap. He used to write raps. Yokozuna.
Yeah, where's Yokozuna really from? Because
Oh, he's from like California.
some of these guys are from like Pennsylvania.
No,
You
he's from
know,
like California. He grew up on the streets, bro.
let me see. He is from San Francisco. Wow. The
Yeah.
streets of San Francisco. The
Yeah,
hood.
he was like a tough kid. I mean, he was like a troubled kid. Did you watch you ever watch the Yokozuna documentary on Peacock?
No.
It's good. It's good. It's a really good. It's one of the best ones they've done. It's really, you know what? Like they show you who he really was, and I'm like, I kind of think you should have put that guy on camera because I think if they let him be who he was and not fucking this fake sumo, I think they would have had something. I think
Maybe.
I would have kept watching back in '93.
But well, you're getting some of it now. He's Samoan now. We're gonna go to match number 3. Yeah, he turned on Jim Cornette, and now he's a good guy. So match number 3, Davey Boy Smith, who's a heel with Jim Cornette versus Yokozuna, who starts beating on Davey until he misses a big elbow drop, and Jim Cornette even gets a couple of hits in on Yokozuna as Davey Boy Smith beats on Yokozuna. All of a sudden, Jim Cornette gets in the ring and he hits Yokozuna with the racket in front of referees. So that's a disqualification. The match is over. Vader runs down slowly and he attacks Yokozuna. They handcuff Yokozuna to the ropes. The fans don't care. There's no reaction for this. Clarence Mason is out there pleading with Vader to please leave, please leave. So he gets Vader and Jim Cornette to leave. I gave this a D. This was terrible. This
This
was
was
not.
horrible, and the beatdown was fucking terrible. And I'll tell you why the beatdown was so bad. I will tell you, is that Vader has basically crippled half of WCW, and here he is hitting Yokozuna over and over again as hard as he can. Yokozuna does not get knocked out. First of all, handcuffing Yokozuna was fucking stupid because he
Mm-hmm.
can't really properly sell. He can barely stand because he's so fat, but he also can't fall on the ground because it's going to hurt his body. So he has to do this awkward selling.
He has to be
There's like a
sitting, like yeah, he's like sitting or kneeling. He can't like lay down because it'll take him forever to get back up.
So there's like a point where I think he's like, I kind of stuck here. I can't do the selling you want me to do. So he just kind of like Vader is just hitting him, and he just has this like look on his face like he's taking a dump. And he's not moving anymore. But he's not unconscious either. But I
Yeah,
can tell
yeah.
it's like there's only so much I can do here. And I think it would have been more effective if Vader came in, gave him a couple of shots, fucking gave him and just laid him out. Just laid him out flat on the fucking ground. And the referees have to wake him up. This whole thing with the handcuff bullshit, I'm going to say it again. I think the second month in a row, they're doing something that they're telling you we're trying to make him look good. I think this made him look bad. I think this made Vader look bad. This did not help out Vader at all.
Yeah, they handcuffed Yoko, and it's not even just Vader. Davey Boy Smith is getting shots in.
Davey Boy
Jim
Smith.
Cornette is hitting it with the racket, and it's like he's not going down, so you don't feel bad at
No,
all. You're just like, oh,
but
that
also
they're barely doing anything. There's 3 against 1, 3 against a handicap guy, and nothing's happening.
this is the message Vince is giving to the fans. This guy was a WCW champion. Hogan was afraid of him. He can't even. He was a champion, same name as Yokozuna. He can't even knock out Yokozuna. So who the
That's a
fuck
good
is this
point.
guy? That was,
Yeah,
dude. I'm telling you, like Bruce Pritchard goes to me like, why would we spend money on people to like humiliate them? Because Vince McMahon is a fucking lunatic and he has a humiliation fetish, as
yeah.
evidence in those fucking papers we saw. Him and Neil Gaiman pooping on each other while watching Sandman.
They love Neil Gaiman and Vince McMahon WrestleMania match. Poop on a pole match, right?
Dude,
First
Neil Gaiman's gonna stop being liberal real fucking fast. He already said he didn't do it.
dude. Okay, yes, I saw that, but you know what? He has like 14 women accusing him, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, I know. I think he did it, but like,
Yeah. Bill Cosby
but
also said he didn't do it. You
but you know
know?
what? Like, let's talk about Neil Gaiman on a different. Like, no
Yeah.
one cares about
Yeah.
this.
Let's move on with
We
this.
gotta talk about things that matter, like Yokozuna. So,
We got to talk about things that matter, like Goldust and
oh boy.
Marlena, who now have a name. Goldust and Marlena, they're in the back, and Goldust is rubbing the shit out of some guy who's online writing some kind of fan fiction about Razor Ramon and Goldust. Um, the guy could have acted more scared or creeped out, but it is what it is. Um,
I just think that they put this guy in a no-win situation. Like, probably the guy, part of him was like, I don't want to seem homophobic. You know,
mm, yeah, I guess. Anyway, let's move right
it's a no-win
along.
situation for the extra because I don't think he was an actor. I think he was the
Yeah,
guy
I think
Vince
you're right.
shoved into that, like Vince does, and the guy's probably like, if I don't, I'm not an actor, and this fucking guy's rubbing me, and I don't know how to react. So
Yeah. Then we get a recap of what's going on with Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels collapsing in the ring after he got beaten up by 9 um, Phantom Men in Syracuse, and he might have to retire, but he makes a comeback with that really shitty "Tell Me a Lie" music video. Oh, do you
tell me
remember watching?
no. No,
Oh, I
I didn't
remember.
see it until years later, and I remember being like, when I finally saw it, I remember thinking to myself, why did anyone think this was gonna get new fans?
I watched this "Tell Me a Lie" music video when I was a kid because they did show it like on Superstars, like every episode and stuff.
Mhm.
And I remember thinking, wow, this is so stupid, and I like it's lame. And even when I watch it now, it's still very lame. I don't know why they
It,
never thought this was good.
you know what? I would bring the song back as a parody. If you know what, I would like have a heel play that for themselves, like the Miz or something. Like,
Yeah,
it's such a,
like Dominic. Dominic should do that.
oh, Dominic gets like he gets a finger cut before a match, and he like rushes home, and he doesn't come in the next week, and instead he sends in the Tell Me a Lie video. That would be so
Yeah, it
good.
would be
Tell me
so
a
funny. It would be
lie,
so good. You know
dude.
who should
This
do
is
it though?
the
Someone, yeah, it would be a waste to do it on NXT, but I would think like Ethan Page should do it.
oh, that would be no, it wouldn't be do it anywhere. Actually, it would probably be better in NXT because Ethan Page could make fun of Shawn Michaels with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And he starts doing this thing where he's against Shawn Michaels and
Mhm.
he's rubbing Shawn Michaels the wrong way. That would be great. I think Ethan Page could pull it off too, Like
Yeah,
this
no, I
snarky.
love that idea. That's a good.
Yeah.
But you know what the thing is? So the thing about it is like, I think at the time I would have been, if I was watching live, I would have been very angry. I would have been like embarrassed and angry about the song, right? But looking back, it's kind of cheesy and stupid, and it's like, it's like whatever. But like it is a horrible song, and it's like, what do you think you're doing? Oh, and also it's just it furthers my theory that Vince was madly in love with Shawn at this era.
I don't think he was in love, but I'm gonna get into that later. But anyway, after this recap, Shawn Michaels is with Top Pen Gun. He cuts a very plain promo, nothing special about it. And Shawn Michaels comes out for his match. not like everybody else. Instead, he's dancing on top of the In Your House set, and he swings down from it for the next match, match number 4. It is for the number 1 contender for the main event at WrestleMania. Owen Hart with Jim Cornette versus Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels sends Owen Hart outside the ring before his music is over, and he starts taking off his gear while he's dancing. Then he goes to the crowd and he kisses a blonde woman, and her and her friend, they start freaking out like, "Oh my god, you got the kiss, Shawn Michaels!" And then Jerry the King Lawler goes, "So what? All the women here want to kiss Jim Cornette," and I got a good laugh out of that.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that was really funny. Who cares? All the women here really want to kiss Jim Cornette. I thought that was really funny. Um, um, Sometimes when it's things like so ridiculous, it's just really funny. Anyways,
Yeah, no one does that anymore, though.
yeah, I know, but stuff like that is so funny. It's just
I know,
so
that's what I'm
like,
saying. It is. I want more of it.
yeah, it's so absurd. It's funny. Shawn Michaels begins the match by diving off the top rope onto Owen Hart on the floor. Then he sends him into the ring and he acts as a top rope axe handle onto Owen Hart. Then they start wrestling back and forth, and they both do a kip up at the same time, which is pretty cool. But then Shawn Michaels gets the better of Owen Hart, which is pretty much going to be a lot of this match. He
Mm-hmm.
starts beating on Owen until Owen hits a huge belly to belly suplex, which starts the heat process, including a power slam from the apron to the floor. That was a devastating move. Starts beating on Shawn Michaels, puts him in the ring, and even does a thing where he blows a snot on Shawn Michaels, and then he hits an enziguri on him, which I love. But then Shawn Michaels just starts to come back out of nowhere, and then he hits his sweet chin music to just win, just like quickly. Uh, and then he dances with a little girl afterwards, and then that's it. I gave this match a B minus. It's the best match on the show, but it's still not like a great match because it's just like
It's a really good, really it's pretty good for what it is. I will say this.
the
I
ending
do
is no
think
good. The ending is no good.
what?
The
Who?
ending is no good.
I will say this. I think this is the thing with the ending. I think that Shawn always was going over because he was Shawn.
Yeah.
And I think that he didn't realize, oh yeah, I have a limited time because it's a 2 hour show, it's not a 3 hour show. And I think then they had to rush to the finish. I think these guys thought they had more time than they did.
Oh, you think they no I maybe well then that also makes it not a good match because they should have timed it better. Their timing was off, you know?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
the
I
ending
think
was
it's the best match on the show, and I like seeing Owen Hart as a one on one wrestler. So
yeah,
it's fun.
it was a good match. It was the best match on the show, 100%, but it made the ending was flat. It made Owen Hart look stupid. It just like, it just and it felt too much like a Hogan ending, like oh, you've been beating on me, but I'm just going to pop up. I'm going to hit all my
Well,
moves and then you just
I
lose.
also think that was kind of what Vince wanted. He wanted him to become the new Hogan.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. No, I 100% when I watched the end of this pay-per-view, which I'm going to get to the ending, I understood why he was going for Shawn Michaels and not Bret Hart. And I'm a huge Bret Hart fan. But
No, I'm interested
before
to
we
hear
can
this
go
theory.
before we can get to the main event, we got to go through some more garbage. Top Pettingale, he's in that little interviewing stand in the audience, and he goes, "Hey, let me welcome you guys, the acting president of WBF because Vader beat the crap out of Gorilla Monsoon. It's Roddy Piper."
Hmm.
So Roddy Piper comes out and he says a whole bunch of stupid nonsense, saying like, "I can't be bought," and I believe Michael Jackson is guilty. I'm not
That
afraid of
was
the
out of
booger.
nowhere.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of the booger man. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Like, what the fuck is he absolutely talking? That's literally what he said. I'm not afraid of booger man. I'm like, I have no idea what he's talking about. And then he mentions Shawn Michaels who won the match, and you can actually hear some boos when he mentions Shawn Michaels. And when he's talking about Shawn Michaels, by the way, I also saw a fan holding up a Sabu sign during this segment, which is kind of fun. Um,
Someone's got to do that.
yeah. So anyway, Roddy Piper's he's rambling. He goes, "I'm not sorry that Yokozuna lost. I don't care that he lost. I don't care that he got beat up." And he goes, "Vader's inbred." And then he goes, "You know what? I'm gonna make Yokozuna versus Vader 1-on-1 at WrestleMania, and
Which
then
doesn't
Jim
happen.
Cornette. Yeah, which doesn't happen. I don't.
So great job.
I like how he shits on both of them, and then like he goes, "Oh, I'll put him in a match." It's like, why are you shitting on both of them? Jim Cornette and Clarence Mason, they come out to confront Roddy Piper, but Roddy Piper, he's such a fucking screen hog that he doesn't even let him speak. And then finally, Jim Cornette has enough. He starts calling him Hot Rod. And then Jim Cornette says, everybody, including you, are scared of Vader. And Roddy Piper tries to cut into Jim and Clover covers his mouth and everything. And Jim's like, come on, dude, just let me get my fucking segment out, you know? And then Piper, when he's leaving, he grabs Jim Cornette's ass. I hate Roddy Piper. You know that? Like I legit don't like Roddy Piper as a performer. I get it in 85, 86, he was quite the performer, but since the 90s, he has been like utter garbage. Ever since he lost to Bret Hart, he's been like pure garbage. Everything he does is pure garbage. He's
Um,
constantly putting himself over, not trying to let anybody else shine,
yeah.
and he is just rambling. He's a rambling lunatic. Nothing he says ever makes sense. I know, I get it. He's probably on a lot of cocaine, but
Mhm.
that's why I hate him even more. He stinks. This was like one of the worst segments I've seen on the show. On the whole show, this was.
Um,
He stinks.
yeah, I get it. I didn't hate this as much as some of his previous stuff.
That's
Jim
true.
Cornette, by the way, has said this was like one of the highlights of his life. So he
Oh my
has been.
god.
What? Well, he said his two heroes are Bobby Heenan and Roddy Piper when he started. So
Jeez,
who's
this is terrible.
anyway, but like I don't know. It is what it is. I get it though. I get it though. But I will say I do think that there has been worse promos
Why did he grab Jim Cornette's ass at the end?
because he's fucking. He just wants to fuck with. Jim Carrey probably said to him, you inspired me. And he was like, I'm gonna treat you like shit. Then fuck you.
Yeah, it's
That's why.
stupid. It's just nothing he did made sense. I hate him. God, I hope Roddy Piper is listening to this right now.
No, he came back to life to listen to this. He was like, "Oh, they got a podcast. They're talking about In Your House 6. Michael Jackson is the pervert."
I'm not scared of the booger man. Stupid.
Do you think he meant Booker Man?
I have no idea what this
Maybe
guy
he
is
meant Booker
talking.
Man.
I thought he meant boogeyman, but he specifically made
Maybe that was
sure
a reference to Brian Pillman.
maybe, but he said booger. He said boog.
Well, maybe he said it. Maybe he said it like that, so you would think he said Booger. So Vince said, "You
oh
say Booger? Did you say Booker
oh
Man? Oh no, I said Booger."
maybe he was referencing that.
Yeah. See, he's
Maybe
smarter than you, bro.
no, but that's
He
even
put,
stupid. That's still stupid.
he worked you. How does it feel to be worked, bro?
Still stupid.
How does it feel to be worked?
Anyway, let's go to the main event. It is a cage match for the WWF title. Diesel, former champion, versus the current champion, Bret the Hitman Hart. Diesel beats on Bret early on, but Bret Hart crotches Diesel when he tries to go for the door, and then they both do a spot where they both try to crawl for the door, but they keep stopping each other, which gets no reaction. There is almost no reaction this whole match in the beginning. Nobody cares
Mhm.
about anything. And I kind of get it. It just kind of the way they're working it. It doesn't seem realistic that neither man can just walk out the door. It's so there's so
Yeah.
many times where it's possible.
I didn't. By the way, I did not like this match.
No.
This
The
match just felt like
crowd,
they were biding time for the Undertaker to get in position.
yeah, the crowd finally comes alive when Diesel whips Brett really hard into the buckle. But it's very short lived. We do get a Diesel chant much later in this match when Brett starts beating on Diesel's kidneys. Then when
When
Bret
you
Hart
said
gets up on that,
kids, I thought you said kids. He said beating on his kids.
yeah, when he beats his kids, Bret Hart gets on the top rope, and then Diesel low blows Bret, and then makes Bret kind of fall on the ropes and crotch himself. That was like one of the few spots that gets a reaction. Then Diesel goes for the door, but as he's crawling for the door, Undertaker climbs out from like a hole in the ring and he pulls Diesel down into this hole as Bret Hart climbs up over the top rope into the floor to win the match. as smoke starts coming out the hole. Diesel climbs out the hole though, and then he sees Undertaker coming out the hole, so he gets scared, so he climbs over the cage and Undertaker confronts him to end the show. I gave this a C. This is not a good main event. And after watching this, I completely I actually came up with a theory about how Vince McMahon Jr. felt about Bret Hart. But before I get to that, what was your thoughts on the main event?
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
It felt like they were told, like, number one, you can't go over to that side of the ring. So probably Brett was like, well, we're not going to do much in the ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's just keep trying to escape. And that's what it was. It was just these idiots like slowly trying to leave the ring over and over again until Undertaker came out. It felt like to me it was like a pay-per-view. It felt like he did this so he could have an image on Raw to sell WrestleMania on. Like, look how bad Undertaker wants Diesel. He pulled him out of the ring. And so he kind of sacrificed this show for that one image. And it makes for a shitty show. I didn't like it. This was not a good show. But I did enjoy Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, and the crowd wasn't into this match at all. Um, so Shawn Michaels, at this point, his gimmick is kind of like he's like a male stripper, right?
Yeah.
And even though it's a shitty gimmick, it's still a lot of charisma. Bret Hart at this point, his gimmick is I'm the best wrestler in the world. And I don't think Vince McMahon, I don't think Junior likes that, right? And
No.
also, if you take a look at Brett had a lot of great storylines in WWF, but all his storylines that are really good revolve around family, right? Owen, right? His brother. Davy Boy Smith, his brother-in-law. That's why because Vince McMahon Jr. at this point, he only sees everybody as a one-dimensional character. Everybody's a one-dimensional character. You can't have depth. So when he sees Brett, he just sees him as your gimmick is your everything is about you is about family. That's why he always has stupid as Helen Hart and Stu Hart always around because his whole thing is a family thing. That's why everything about him is family. So he's kind of boring in that sense, where at least Shawn Michaels, it's stupid as fuck that he's like this male stripper, but that's at least more interesting than the family thing. So that's why Vince McMahon, when he decides, I got this is why I also think whenever Brett was champion, he was like the reluctant champion, meaning he had to make Brett the champion because Brett was the most legit guy he had who was small, not on steroids looking, right?
Mhm.
But he didn't like Brett being his champion. That's why whenever he was champion that first run, he's not even main eventing. It's always like in the middle of the card or something, right? He doesn't believe in him. That's why as soon as he got like Luger or Diesel, he's putting the fucking trying to get the belt on those guys, even though they're not as talented as Brett. But as soon as he realizes, I feel like Shawn Michaels could be the guy, he just wants to go gung ho with Shawn Michaels. And that's why when Vince McMahon is talking about Shawn Michaels, it's like, oh my God, he's amazing. Oh my God, let's get him. Like, because he's trying to sell him to the audience. But if I was Vince McMahon, I hate to say this, but I would do the same thing. I would put the belt on Shawn before Brett. Because Brett is boring.
I think everything you're saying is correct. I think Brett was the best choice at the time in '92. I think he
Yeah.
was annoyed at the fans. This is my thing. Neither one of these guys was the right guy. Neither one. They
But
both.
but you didn't have anybody else in the roster for this.
I understand that, which is why thank God for Steve Austin.
Yes, yes, yes. You're right.
But I do think if he got behind Bret Hart more, and you're right, I think ultimately he doesn't like Bret Hart. If he could have had his way, Bret Hart would have been in a tag team the entire life, which is why he breaks the contract the second he gets it. Which is why, like, the second he can break this, the second he thinks he's in trouble, he breaks Bret's contract. And I think the reason he broke Bret's contract was he thought Bret's so fucking stupid, he'll take less money just so he could like walk around with the belt. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that didn't even Bruce Pritchard said if Brett took less money, I think right now Vince would have him as the greatest of all time, and like he would have made so much money in the back end. But he was selfish and like, bro, he's got like 3 kids. Like I don't know how many kids he's got. He's got like a bunch of kids, and you're telling him like, remember you thought you were gonna make millions over 20 years? Now you're gonna make. I don't even know if I'm gonna stay in business. To be honest with you, who the fuck wouldn't go to WCW? You know?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Um, who's gonna? Oh, let me stick around in case Mike Tyson wants to fucking get smacked around by Steve Austin. Let me stick.
Yeah.
Let me stick around because choppy choppy your pee pee might fucking really turn things around here. So I got a good feeling about the porn star gets his dick chopped off by fucking Kai and Tai. Let me hang
Here's the
around. That's
thing. Here's the thing. Bret Hart is absolutely the best that he has on that
the, the,
roster at this
the thing
point.
about it is that you're right about all that. And probably when I'm sitting there back in the day, but Bret was the guy. It wasn't Shawn. Even though Bret's the guy, like as a kid, I didn't appreciate it, but when I go back, he's the person I appreciate the most.
Yes, no, that's what I'm saying. He is when you watch WWF at 1995, 1986. Bret 100% is the best person they have on the roster, but that's how shitty the roster is. That even
Yeah,
the best guy is not really like all that amazing. You know,
yeah.
it's almost like AEW right now. I would get if you looked at AEW right now, the best person they have on their roster right now, hands down, is Will Ospreay, right? And Will Ospreay still isn't like the guy because
He
he's
should be though.
missing. But he's like if you put the title on Will Ospreay right now, it's not gonna move anything. They're
To
still
be
only
better than
gonna have
Mox.
yeah, but that might that the point is this: Mox actually has some kind of like charisma or character thing going on. What's
Not
Will
based on the
Ospreay's
ratings they're
character?
getting.
Yeah, but what's Will Ospreay's character?
He's a good wrestler, but that's what AEW lunatics want, bro.
I know, but that's why they only either way, that's kind of like what it is with Bret. Bret's the best guy they have in the roster, but if you make him the champion, they're still drawing the shitty numbers. At least with Shawn Michaels, you might have something with him with a lot of perverts trying to tune in, you know? So that's just kind of like what it is. Like, this is a terrible show, but at least when I watched it, I did come to that realization that like I totally get why he was behind Shawn Michaels. For the longest time, dude, I was always like, why did Vince McMahon choose Shawn Michaels over Bret Hart, right? Like around this period. I understand now. I finally understand. So that's all I can say. Though, but this is a terrible In Your House 6. Terrible. Never. Don't even. Nobody needs to
Well,
watch this.
listen, it's about to get worse. So
Is
next
it?
week, yeah, next week is Uncensored 96.
Is that
With
bad?
it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's one of the worst shows you'll ever see in WCW.
Really?
I would say 2000 WCW has better shows than this, and those shows are known as being terrible. I don't think this is worse.
Wow.
The Mega Powers versus the Alliance to end Hulkamania. And one of the most ridiculous main events you'll ever see. I almost want Tony Khan to recreate this main event because I don't know how you can make it more ridiculous. It's really
Who could you give the Hogan role to?
oh
MJF?
you do the Young Bucks versus like 19 guys in a triple
Oh
K.
my god.
So that's
The
next
Young
week.
Bucks versus 19 tag teams. Yeah, yeah, 19 guys. Yeah. Actually, yeah,
In,
you could
in
do that.
2 weeks, one of the most boring fucking main events in WWE history. It's WrestleMania 12, Iron Man, Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels. In
Uh,
3 weeks, it picks up because we have In Your House, Good Friends, Better Enemies, Diesel versus Shawn Michaels in the mid event. Then in 4 weeks, we have Slamboree 96 with Sting versus the Giant. But that's not all because Slamboree 96 has to return in the final appearance of Battle Bowl, Daddy.
oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
I'm not looking forward to any of these matches, any of
But
these.
In Your House, Good Friends, Better Enemies, that's a good match. So I'm looking forward to that. And it's also Razor Ramon's final WWE pay-per-view match. He fights Vader. So I'm kind of interested in
And I
that.
guess it's only a 2 hour show, so I guess the thing I'm looking forward to the most is In Your House. What
That
about you?
that's a really good main event, Shawn Diesel. So I'm looking forward to that. Nothing else on that show. But it's gonna get better. The Hulkster is coming to save the day. Even though he's ruining the day, he's going to save the day from himself very soon. So
Very soon. Yes, that's true.
very soon. And Austin, the rise of Austin. He's in the background. He's thinking up things. Give me a hell. Give me a
Damn,
hell
Austin's
yeah.
already on this roster, and he can't get on In Your House 6.
They didn't believe in him yet, bro. They didn't believe in him.
All right, isn't that,
They don't know what they had.
that's really funny. He can't even get on. Duke the Dumpster could get on this, but not.
Well, that guy has a real future, not like this fucking bum Steve Austin. Come on. Dude, they didn't know. Dude, it's so funny. You never know what you have. I couldn't have predicted. I could not have predicted what is about to happen in the February of '96. You never know what you have. You never know.
Yeah. That is true, man. That happens.
No one
That
could have
happens.
called what happens.
That happens in a lot of places. Yeah.
The world is a completely different place in 2 years because of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what makes some of this exciting because it's like the guy is there and they just can't figure it out. We're watching it in real time. All right. So, guys, please subscribe to the podcast, Goots' Wrestling Pod. Please give us a follow, give us a like, leave us some comments on the YouTube video. We'd love to hear from you guys. Do you think Odyssey Jones should be rehired and given the belt at WrestleMania? Let us know. She's like, I'm only going to come back if I get the belt, brother. That's a shoot. All right, guys. We'll see you next week for Uncensored 96. Watch it, suffer along with us. We'll see you then, guys. We appreciate it.